Erica, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Maybe take a few minutes to share about yourself personally and your story.
Yes. So my name is Erica again, like I shared, and I'm originally Burundian. I was born in Burundi, but I've lived most of my life as a refugee because of the political crisis that has been going on in my country for a long time now. So in 2015, I had to leave Burundi again because of the political crisis that had happened then. And I found myself in Rwanda. Very passionate about changing my country. I had started movements when I was in university there. And I was very, very passionate about seeing young Burundians rise up and do something about the challenges and the problems that were in our country. And it often used to frustrate me to see Burundians criticizing leaders and not taking a stand themselves to change their country. So I felt like after I finished my university, I wanted to make a big impact in my country. And I had all these plans. And then 2015 happened, and all of a sudden I had gone back to being a refugee and going through the challenge of starting again. So I went to Rwanda in that state, very devastated. I felt like God had given up on me by causing all these things to happen in my country. And it was while I was in Rwanda that I realized that God had taken me to Rwanda to meet people and to learn how to be a better leader. And now that I went back to Burundi, I actually have something better to offer. I have hope that we can rise. I believe in what we can offer as Burundians. I believe we have a lot of resources, a lot of assets. And before that, I didn't have that kind of perspective. And I found this perspective at ALI. And yeah, it was the first course we learned at ALI, and it has transformed the work that I do. So in Rwanda, I started working with children, started teaching children on the veranda of our house how to read and write. And to cut the long story short, I met Richard Taylor at a point when I was about to give up on the work I was doing because it felt so heavy on me to try and change everything in the community. I was not working, I didn't have any salary, and I had to keep this work going. From the veranda of our house, I started with 25 children, and it became 70, and then 100, and then we had to rent a place. And all the needs in the community were so overwhelming. And I got to a place where I felt like I just couldn't do it anymore because it was too much for me. And when I came to ALI, I felt like it was what God had prepared for me to continue my journey, because I was literally packing up and trying to find another job because it wasn't sustainable anymore. So far, I think I've shared a lot. Yeah, thank you.
So so in summarizing, Erica, it seems like you had a heart for your home country of Burundi. You didn't expect that in 2015 that God was going to shift you. But even in spite of you being shifted to Rwanda and being in an uncomfortable place, you had a heart for the children in the community where you were located. And using what you had, using what you knew, you just started to open up your home, and you saw children who weren't learning how to read and write, and you had gotten an education. So you started to use that to make a difference in their lives. And then out of that grew this organization called Love in Hands. So you had a vision already, but it sounded like you were about ready to either abandon or to give up on that vision. Would that be correct?
Yes, it is. I was ready to give up. I remember the day I came to meet you it was a high school camp. And I remember sharing my story, but I had lost passion for it because I felt like it was too big for me. It was too big, and I was little, I was small in this whole, all the problems. Children were coming to me, telling me they didn't have meals at night, and they were sick. And I wanted to solve all these problems, but I just couldn't. I felt like I was too small for that. And just being part of ALI just gave me an opportunity to pick up that vision again and look at it from a different angle. Yeah.
So I won't get into a lot of the technical things that you learned in ALI. I mean, people can read that for themselves. But what I'm probably most interested in hearing from you, Eric, is how did you take, maybe two things. One, how did it impact you, the other leaders that you had a chance to connect with in the ALI program, other African leaders like you that you were connecting with? How did that impact you in your work? And second, how did you take what you had learned and multiply it to others?
Yeah, I think the first thing about connecting with other leaders was knowing that I'm not alone in this journey, just meeting different people. I was one of the youngest. I think it was the first time that they had young leaders join that cohort. It was the third cohort. And just looking at different leaders, sorry, my tears are coming and I feel like crying, sorry. Yeah, so just being part of, just looking at other leaders who have persevered and have kept fighting, meeting Barbara, who's now built many schools in Uganda and is making a huge impact. It would encourage me to feel like I am at the beginning of my journey, but there are people who haven't given up, and this is how far we can get if we work together. And I do remember reaching out to some of the leaders for advice. Sometimes we needed to run trainings and they would give us spaces. And it has just grown to be a community that I really am grateful for, yeah.
Wonderful. That is wonderful. So then you also, though, weren't content to just use what you had learned and the network that you had gained in your own organization of Love and Hands. You also were very motivated to try and take what you had learned and already start multiplying that to others. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yes, thank you. So I think I'm sure some people don't really understand how I took the asset-based and then made it really big. But we started from the time when I first learned actually Richard Taylor was the one who taught us about asset-based, and I felt like it was something that I wanted to try out in the communities because I had really reached the end and I wanted to try something new. And I remember starting with the parents of the children that I was teaching. I wanted the parents to come in and join the work and help us create a sustainable system to keep their children in school and to solve all the other challenges. And then it started with the parents. It didn't go quite well at the beginning, but I tried again. I used to go back to another facilitator of LI and ask her for help and tell her, I really need you to help me because I think this is going to help our community. And from there, we trained the parents, and more parents in the community started asking us, can you please reach out? We need this, it's gonna help us, help our community. And then we moved from training parents to the community around and helping them set up businesses that they can use to solve different challenges that they were facing. And when I saw that this was successful, I said, I think this is the tool we need to take back home to Burundi, because many of us are so discouraged. We feel like we don't have anything. And if you speak to young Burundians right now, they will tell you, I can't do anything. I don't have money. Everything is falling apart. And so when I got this tool, I said, this is what we need to take back home. And now in Burundi, we set up Love and Hands Burundi. And it's mostly working with young people. And we work in Burundi as a social enterprise, working with NGOs to help them establish this kind of strategy within their organization. So we work with them for a year to be able to do that with young people in community.
Amazing. And you are planning on going back home. Is it as soon as possible?
Yes, I'm excited. I can't wait. Yeah.
But we need to also be praying for you. Yes. I wish we had so much more time to talk with you today. There will be other opportunities. But thank you for sharing your passion with us. Thank you for giving us the ability, even in different places around the world, to be able to pray for you and the ministry that you have. I also have no doubt that you'll continue to be somebody who teaches and trains other leaders within the context of Kurumbuka. We just have to work out what those details actually look like. Let's raise our chai mugs to Erica. You are doing an incredible job, my friend, and we hope to be able to continue to support you in that work.